We are here with Lynne Kaufman, who is co-chair of the gaming practice at Cooper & Levenson law firm, and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Lynne, let's start off by giving folks a little background on you and a little background on Cooper & Levenson.
Sure. Hi, well, I have been in the gaming industry for 30 plus years. Lots of pluses now. I used to just say 30. And I started my career in gaming as an in-house lawyer. I was in-house at Bally's, the old Bally's, which now is the new Bally's, Park Place in Atlantic City, for almost 10 years. And I have been working at Cooper Levenson in the gaming group for almost 25 years. And I'm now the vice chair. I'm the co-chair. I gave myself a demotion of the group for Cooper Levenson. Cooper Levenson it's the largest Atlantic City-based law firm. There are other law firms in Atlantic City that are affiliated with large firms outside of Atlantic City, but we are a local-based Atlantic City law firm who does just about everything. But it's our gaming practice group that brings us here, and that kind of brings us around the country. And we have an office in Nevada, we have an office in New York, and we do gaming work kind of around the country, not legal work, except where we are licensed to practice law, of course, but compliance and related work. Obviously, we started out as land-based lawyers because that's all there was. And when there was gaming just in Atlantic City and Nevada, we were the Atlantic City side, there was a Nevada side. Gaming opened up all over the country. We moved around with that. Many years ago, we started to get involved with G2E before it was G2E. And we were, for many, many years, the legal and regulatory advisor to G2E. So every time we come here, it's kind of like coming home. So, thank you.
Well, good. That's a good summary. As attorneys, you get to see so many different aspects of the gaming industry. What are one or two of the trends that you see coming through your office?
Well, that is a nice thing about what I do. It's such a highly regulated industry that every new trend, generally, much to the chagrin of our clients, they have to come to us to help them through the regulatory process and the like. So obviously, it goes without saying that sports wagering has completely, not only exploded in terms of the number of people wagering in every jurisdiction that it's legal, but with the speed in which states have been passing laws, adopting regulation, and getting up and running with sports wagering. So, and that sports wagering has impacted, and iGaming, although it's been a much slower rollout of just internet gaming without sports, many fewer states having passed that. But with sports wagering and iGaming, we've seen, and everybody's heard this, and I've heard a lot of people say it, but cashless gaming trends, also interesting new developments in agent identity verification, geolocation verification, lots of questions regarding advertising, and interestingly enough, we've seen more of an uptick since the pandemic of people wanting to get out and actually be in casinos, that we were kind of worried that is there going to be room for brick and mortar casinos now that everything is available on your phone. And it's been very interesting to see that there has been quite an appetite for land-based gaming as well.
When you combine all of these new forms of gaming, because it's not just slot machines and casinos anymore, it's all the things you can do on your mobile phone. And you've got cashless, which brings the whole financial element into it as well. That also, and you've got companies like a Caesars that has 60-some million players in their database. That should raise a lot of cybersecurity issues.
Yes. Yes, it does. And I mean, cybersecurity obviously is a concern for operators of land-based casinos, of platform providers, content providers, but also on the other side, obviously, the patrons. And the patrons' security regarding cybersecurity is of the utmost importance, or else they're not going to have a digital wallet. They're not going to give you their social security number and all the information about them and put it into their phones and have it go through whatever channels it's going through. So we've seen developments on several levels with cybersecurity. Obviously, just from a company-wide perspective, the companies are on their own instituting cybersecurity measures. But additionally, in various jurisdictions, regulators are also imposing requirements regarding cybersecurity reporting, not only reporting of breaches, but procedures that need to be followed to try and prevent breaches, report breaches, and in places like New Jersey, for example, if you have any kind of mobile or iGaming, you have to have a dedicated information security officer whose job really is cybersecurity, who it has to be a real position with the real staff and resources. And so it's something that fortunately so far there hasn't been a disaster yet, but everybody knows that at any given moment there could be some sophisticated hack. So it's a high priority, I know, for regulators. When you ask regulators in various jurisdictions what's coming up and what are you focusing on, a lot of them are focusing on imposing cybersecurity, additional cybersecurity requirements.
You've also touched upon the proliferating forms of gaming that we have now, such as sports betting. And what we've seen in Europe, in countries like the UK and the Netherlands and some others, now Ireland is moving in this direction, they are imposing limits and prohibitions on a lot of things, whether it's advertising gambling or advertising gambling during prime TV times, whether it's the amount of money a player can deposit in an online account each month, even slowing down the spins of a slot machine so that people can't be playing a game every 30 seconds or however long it is. And in the United States, we're starting to see a lot of advertising, including prime time during games when underage people are watching those games. Tell us a little bit about responsible gaming and what may or should be done in this country, maybe to head off some of those European-type impositions.
Well, this is mostly opinion, but I believe that, I mean, there is, as everyone knows, just a tremendous proliferation of, as you mentioned, of sports wagering advertising. And I have a concern, just like, I'm a grandmother now, but as a parent about the exposure, younger people's exposure to sports wagering ads. And I'm, on the other hand, concerned that there's such a proliferation of ads that there is going to be a ban or limitations, and I don't think that's necessarily good. So I don't have a solution, because I think that, obviously I'm happy about about sports wagering, and I think it's hopefully crack down on the illegal market. There's so many protections. But on the other hand, it is a concern, and but I am worried that there's going to be a tremendous backlash, and we're going to go through what they've gone through in Europe. Now, all states have instituted a lot of measures that can be player protection measures that can be decided by the player. So they have it can have limitation on number of bets, limitation on amount of bets. You can take a cooling off period. Also, staff, the operators have people that are now well-trained in kind of picking up responsible gaming issues. There's tremendous training, and there are signs, and hopefully the combination of the two will, in part at least, prevent a gambling addicted nation.
Right.
Because I think that's an exaggeration.
Okay. Lynn, any other legal or regulatory type issues you'd think we should address?
Well, I will say from a regulatory perspective, the pandemic was very challenging to regulators in every state and to operators who, even when the casinos were closed, where there was iGaming and there was no sports wagering, obviously, when there was no sports. But I will say that the regulators were very flexible in terms of not flexible, waiving regulations that shouldn't be waived, but realizing certain regulations really did not have applicability. Also in being available at all times, not just during the usual state work hours, not that they only usually work during working hours, but I mean, found the staffs very helpful and creative, and I'm hoping that that carries on. And I'm just really happy to be in a casino that has surrounded by a lot of people and that are enjoying all the entertainment options that gaming offers in addition to the gaming part of it.
Lynn, thank you. Very interesting discussion.
Thank you.